Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Cassie, and for those of you who don't know, and for those of you who do, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I will be giving you guys an advice session. You know, as the monthly due goes, you go drinking some tea. I drink this in probably each and every one of my videos, vanilla chai tea. I feel like my taste buds are starting to get used to drinking so much tea because I can no longer taste this. No rooibos, no chamomile, no normal chai tea. So let me know of other flavors of tea that are good down below in the comments that y'all want me to try, because I'm open to exploring some new options. Like, I think this is the first time I'm filming in my room. Welcome to my room while we at it. Anyway, in today's advice session, I will be giving you guys advice based on having divorced parents, you know, or living a divorced lifestyle, kind of like, I don't know really what you call it, but like when I tell people like, oh no, like my parents are divorced, people are always like, oh my word, like, are you okay? I'm like, babe, I'm like, it's kind of like, you know, like there's nothing you can do about it, you get me? I had posted up questions on my IG, and I was like, okay, let me first things first, you know, find out by you guys, you know, what y'all are looking for, what questions you guys have regarding the situation, etc, etc, and I'm just here to give what y'all have asked for. Now recently, I'm not gonna lie, I've been getting a lot of questions from people and friends and family members as well, you know, wanting to know what it's like living in a divorced home, you could call it that, or having parents that are divorced. It is not easy. It is not, you know, a skate in the park. A skate in the park or not easy. But y'all get what I'm trying to say. It's not something that just happens, you know, it's something you actually have to adjust to. When I first tell people that, you know, like my parents are divorced, they always think the worst. And I'm gonna start with my story first before I get to answering the questions. So if you are interested in wanting to know what's happening regarding those situations, please continue watching. And while you're at it, don't forget to leave a like, comment, subscribe, and put on your post notifications so you get notified every time I post a new video. Like, I really don't remember like seeing my parents ever together. Like, my whole life I've just known them being divorced. My dad stopped living with us when I was like young. Like, I could be wrong, but I was like 7 or 8, maybe in grade 1, and then the divorce got finalized when I was like in grade 4. So I really don't remember my parents ever being together. I only saw that in pictures and stuff like that. So my parents have both moved on. Divorce, or you know, when you're a child experiencing divorce with your parents, you know, it's difficult because you never understand why your parents are no longer together and why they're not living together anymore. You know, divorce situations work differently for everyone. My situation might not be the same as someone else's, and I do want to give that as a warning because people experience divorce differently towards what I did. I know a friend, when I was like in grade 7, his parents got divorced and he took that one pretty hard. Like, I never knew better when I was younger, but if you've constantly been seeing your parents together for like so long, 13-14 years of your life, and all of a sudden they're not together and they're moving on with their lives, that is gonna hit hard, you get me? And you know, then it was always just my mom, my sister, and I. So once my dad moved out and the divorce got finalized, my parents sent me to counseling, you know, just to make sure your girl is okay up here. And from there, you know, I just went on with my life. My parents have both moved on till today. I'm very proud to say that I have 4 parents, and I really don't mind that. It's actually more of a privilege, if anything. They all help with certain aspects of my life, you know what I mean? And it's always really cool because I'll be telling people like, no, I have 4 parents. What was I saying? What was I saying? You know, I went on with my life, and so did my parents, and we used to alternate. My sister and I lived with my mom, so we'd go visit my dad every second weekend. But the downside to that was, to me at a point, it felt like, you know, like I'm living out of a bag. Like, you're constantly just being tossed around from one. Like, it doesn't help I'm staying here this weekend and then I know I'm gonna have to unpack to repack on Friday because I'm going to my dad, you know, because it's like 1 week mom, 1 week dad. It clashed sometimes because when friends would want to come visit, or I'd have a birthday party and I'd be like, oh no, I can't make it because I gotta go to my dad, you know. And people didn't really understand that. It was just one of those things that I experienced growing up. Another big bummer was, you know, sometimes seeing other parents, you know, that are happily married, you know, always just be together and stuff like that. Like that always hit different to me personally. Like happy households, you know, where there is a mom, a dad, a sister and brother, you know, they call it the perfect family, but that was always something I envied because I never had that, you know. And I think that's also another downside to having divorced parents. As I got older to understand what it's about, once I got older and I understood, okay, you know, sometimes parents do this for the better, and sometimes people are genuinely just not meant to be, and they only found out later down the line. You blame yourself a lot while growing up, but like I said, as I came to understand that this was something that had to happen, you know, to make me who I am today firstly, and just for the better sake of my parents' relationship, I realized that it's not necessarily a bad thing, because now my parents have a really good relationship with one another. I would say they keep it professional, they keep it a buck, like, you know, they only speak when it comes to the kids or whatever the case might be. I never really experienced a traumatic divorce situation, because I do know friends that really experienced it harsh, you know, and some of them even had to choose if they wanted to go live with their mom or their dad, because then the mom is like, oh no, like you always pick your dad's side, but and vice versa. So feelings were definitely hurt, but you know, divorce is something you kind of get used to, you kind of adjust to that, and you just gotta go with the flow. So yeah, in this moment in time, I'm very much happy. That was just a mini summarized background story as to how that went. Let's get into the questions. I asked you guys to ask me some questions based on the topic on my IG story. If you are not aware of that, please do make sure to check out my IG. The links will be in the description for that, so please make sure to do so. I did get a few questions. I'm going to answer them to the best of my ability, and yeah, let's get it. How to deal with the separation. When I was younger, I really did not know what that was about. Like, to me, that was normal, you know. I never really remembered my parents being together, so it didn't hit me as hard. When I turned 13, between 13 and 16, I blamed myself, and that really hurt me a lot, because I finally understood what it was like to have divorced parents and the dynamic behind it. But then I realized that I shouldn't blame myself for something that was not in my control, etc., etc., and that this was how things were supposed to be, because everything happens for a reason, and I'm a firm believer in that for sure. So right now I'm really comfortable with the situation. I would just want to remind you that it's not your fault, okay? And it's nothing you did. There's just something that went wrong within the relationship that your parents felt that like they didn't see eye to eye with, or they realized that they were not a good match together, which is probably 9 out of 10 times that is the reason why parents get divorced. So yeah, then again, there could be their own reasons, but like I said, every situation differs from one to the other. I think you should take your time with it and process what's happening in that moment, because bottling it up and constantly avoiding it, you know, is not going to get you anywhere. Yeah, I would say that's how you'd deal with it. Don't take it to head. How does divorce affect your schoolwork? Because I was about to fail. That's a tough one, no cap. I never really let it get to me like that. Like I said, I was really young when I experienced that, but it's really tough to not let those situations get to you in certain times. But like I always say, put yourself first, and I will always continue saying that, because that was the biggest thing I had learned. I was too busy worrying about why my parents aren't together, what I can do to get them back together. Definitely separate your school life from your home life. Never really affected my schoolwork, because my parents were supportive and always made sure I was on top of my work. I always made this excuse when I didn't do my homework. I'll be like, ma'am, last week I was at my dad's house and I forgot my school books there, and I'm only going this Friday back home to get it. So mom, if you're watching this, dad, if you're watching this, I'm not gonna say anything, but it had to get me out of certain situations at times, and it's normal to slip up at times when, you know, things are getting rough at school or things are getting rough at home, but always do your best at school, focus really hard, and speak when there is a problem. How does a child cope with it? I always say this, to each his own. Some people really take it hard, and there's always the sense of loneliness, especially if you do not have another sibling. If you're an only child, there's always going to be that sense of loneliness between you, and there's always going to be questions. Always. Like, a girl is not here to preach to you guys, but I would definitely say, if there are any questions, you know, speak to your parents about it. It might sound easier said than done. If you're not coping or you're not keeping head above water, speak to someone who can help you, a aunt, or uncle, a teacher at school, a best friend that can speak to their parents that you trust, you know what I mean? And yeah, having a good support system is always the best, because I don't know how my sister and I would have gotten through without having each other. The next question was, who do you think the child should live with? And that is up to the child, but I feel like the child should live with whoever the child is comfortable with, and the parents should definitely accept that, because putting the child in an awkward situation where, you know, I feel like at the end of the day, you should never make your child choose between which parent, because that's the most difficult choice ever to be made. But the child should be able to make that decision freely and non-biased. What do you think is the main reason people divorce? Some people have issues, you know, within the relationship that caused the divorce. A few years back, I was like, hey, like, why did y'all split up? And then they're like, nah, like, no, like, I'll tell you when you're a bit older, you know, I'll sit you down and we'll talk about it. And I'm like, okay.
2,000 years later.
The last question was, how did you feel before and after the divorce? I really don't remember what life was before the divorce. I'm not even going to lie. So that wasn't really a tough pill to swallow when it came to me. But life after the divorce was very tough, because there was really hard times. Things do get better. I'm a firm believer in things have to get worse before they get better. So if it's one thing I learned throughout this whole situation, was that I have to put myself first, and that you need a good support system to have your back. It doesn't even have to be family, like friends, anyone close to you, aunts, uncles, cousins, that can definitely be there to support you through this time and be there to listen to you. That is all you need. So yeah, guys, I'm going to end off the video here. I really hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please don't forget to leave a like, comment, subscribe, and put on your post notifications so that you get notified every time I post a new video. Also, if you guys have any other questions, or you guys want me to do part 2, please do let me know down in the comments, and I shall do so just for you. Anyway, guys, I shall see you in my next video, shall we? Bye.